Good morning, everyone. My name is Nuria Casas, and I work at ACR Plus. I'm here today with my colleagues Francesco Lembo and Tucce Tugran. We work together with Rex Waterstadt with the CPRON initiative, and that Johan Brumel will introduce in a moment. In this first activity, CPRON is connecting with the Interreg Europe Circular Minds project and the Circular Cities and Regions Initiatives, Technical Working Group on Circular Resource Management, to exchange experiences and identify opportunities for collaboration. This webinar will specifically deep dive on the topic of organizational change, as it has been identified as a topic of interest for CPRON and CCRI members. We invited the Interreg Europe Circular Minds project to introduce the work being developed in this topic, named the Mindset Indicators Assessment Framework, which was shared with you by email yesterday. This will be presented by Mervyn Jones in a moment. Today with us, we also have different organizations working at local, regional, and national level, also networks and project representatives. So before having a round of introductions, I will introduce the agenda for today. So yes, so the first 15 minutes we will have the welcome and introduction to CPRON that will be presented by Johan Brumel from Rex Waterstadt. Then we will move to the CCRI Technical Working Group on Circular Resource Management, purpose and aims, that will be introduced by my colleague Tucce Tugran from ACR Plus. Then there will be a presentation on Circular Minds project that we will introduce the framework that was shared with you already. And it will be presented by Mervyn Jones from Rex Waterstadt. And then we'll have time for discussion, and then we will have the closure. I would like to mention that we aim at having an interactive event. So please, if you have questions, please feel free to raise your hand, and yeah, so we want to hear your experience. It's very important. Okay, so having said that, I will give the floor to Johan. Sorry, Johan. Just I'm forgetting the round of introductions. If we can just have a quick. We are many people, so I would like to ask you to be brief. So if you can introduce yourself, I will start. So my name is Nuria. I'm a project manager in ACR Plus, and working on circular procurement. So I will pass the floor to my colleague Tucce.
Hi, good morning. So my name is Tucce. I work for ACR Plus 2. Today I'm joining you as the CCRI CSO representative. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe I see that we have more colleagues from ACR Plus. Maybe well, we have Anita, Gael, and Francesco. Please, if you could just say something, say hello, please.
Hello, nice to see such a participated first webinar of the CPRON initiative. That's a journey we just recently launched, and happy to have you on board.
Yeah, Anita.
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
This is Anita. Happy to be here as well.
Gael, maybe.
Yeah. Hello. So I don't know. We didn't hear very well, Anita. At least me. Hello, everyone. So nice to meet you, at least online like that. I'm supporting Nuria more for the communication work. So yeah, you will not hear so much about me.
Now maybe let's start with alphabetical order. Angela and Malusi, please. You can introduce yourself. Angela? Maybe it's not connected. So we move to Anke Kampeter, please.
Hi, I'm Anke from Munich, and I'm responsible for, with a colleague, for the topic sustainable procurement. In the city for the city in Munich.
Thank you. Okay. Carlos.
Hi, good morning. I'm Carlos Agustí. I'm an external advisor working for AIJU. AIJU is a technology center in the province of Alicante who is leading one big circular economy project. And that's everything. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Carlos. Nice to meet you. Cedric.
Yeah, hello. My name is Cedric. I'm advisor for sustainable procurement at the City of Brussels.
Thank you. Clyde.
Hello, good morning. I'm Clyde Fazon from the Environment and Resources Authority in Malta, and I work in procurement.
Thank you. Virginia. Maybe not here. Virginia, can you hear us? You are muted.
Thank you.
No.
Sorry. My name is Virginia Ferrer Vidal. I am technician of the Environmental Qualification Service of the Ministry of Climate Action, Food and Rural Agenda of the Government of Catalonia, and in the framework of our Green Public Procurement Action Plan, we are working to promote the circular economy in public procurement too.
Thank you. Gamze.
Hello, my name is Gamze Sargül. I'm from AIJU. As Carlos mentioned, we are a technology center and active within CCRI, and we often work with the representative of the Valencia community, and that's it.
Thank you.
I'm the technical manager of the Circular project, which we are wanting to collaborate with you or trying to find the collaboration ways. That's why we are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Then Gemma.
Hello, my name is Gemma. I am part of the team from Andalusia, besides Manuel Gomez, who has connected also, and Marisa Sebastian, and we are the three people involved in the project to try to take the circularity more to the procurements here in the department, let's say.
Thank you. Aino.
Hello, my name is Aino from Helsinki Region Environmental Services. And I work as a project manager in the Circular Minds project.
Thank you. Lisanne.
Good morning. I'm Lisanne van 't Hof from Rijkswaterstaat, the Netherlands. And we are part of CPROM and also other projects on circular procurements.
Thank you. Joanna.
Hi, how are you? My name is Joanne. I work in Ireland with the Regional Waste Management Planning Offices. So we work on waste management and circular economy. And of course, circular procurement is a very important part of that. So we are trying to advance that within our municipalities here. And just to apologize in advance, I actually need to leave the meeting early. I was on leave last week and it's clashing with an important project meeting, another important project meeting. So just apologies in advance for that.
No problem. Thank you, Joanna, for being here. Then Jorge.
Hi, I'm Jorge González. I'm the director of TPMED. We are an association located in Murcia, Spain. I'm the coordinator of a project called Prepare. What we are doing are regional strategies to promote public procurement of innovation and demand-driven innovation. Thank you very much, Nuria, for the invitation, by the way.
Thank you for being here with us. Thanks. Carly?
Yes, hello. My name is Kerli, and I'm from Estonia, from Lääneharju municipality. And I work in environmental department, so circular procurement is something that we deal with every day.
Thank you. Konstantina?
Hello to everybody. My name is Konstantina Marousi. I work for the University of Patras in Greece. We are partners in Procuramed project, which is funded under the Interreg Europe program, working with green and innovation procurement. So the topic of circular procurement is of high interest also for us.
Thank you. Nina?
Good morning. My name is Nina Maaswinkel. I work at Rijkswaterstaat, the Netherlands as well, and I work on the project Circular Minds, which is all about circular procurement. Thank you.
Thank you. Manuel? See, you are muted, maybe Manuel. We move to Anna.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Sorry, didn't realize that I was muted. My name is Manuel Gomez. I'm from Andalusia. I work for the Directorate General of Sustainability and Circular Economy. Please, who needs you all of you?
I cannot hear you very well. Yes, it
You
was
can.
cut at the end.
Sorry, that's everything. Maybe I have a
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, more or less, but I think it's fine.
Okay, right.
Mervin?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mervyn Jones. I'm a colleague of Nina's, of Lisanne's, and Johan's at the Rijkswaterstaat. And I'll be talking a little bit more about circular minds, so you'll hear from me later on.
Thanks. Paula?
Hello, everybody. I'm Paula. I'm based in Portugal, and I'm a researcher, and I was part of the team that developed the new strategy for green procurement, which entails also a big part of circular procurement. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Johan?
Yeah, Johan Brummo, working for Rijkswaterstaat as well. International advisor on circular economy and specifically focusing on procurement as a strong instrument connected to a lot of these projects that were already mentioned. And I'll talk to you in a bit about CPRO.
Thanks. Rosa?
Hi everyone, my name is Rosa. I came from English, Portugal. I don't know if you hear me well. I'm traveling, and I'm a partner of a Circular Minds, and I also have some responsibilities in the DCISO project, which is one project related to circular economy of the CCRI, and I'm responsible for the land use department of the CCR Alentejo. Thank you.
Thank you. Monica?
Morning, everyone. Sorry, my camera is not working. I am a colleague also of Johan and Mervyn and Lisanne and Ninette. We're well represented here today. I'm an advisor in circular procurement as well, and on the team of Circular Minds. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica. Sarah?
Hi everyone, my name is Sara Balcázar. I'm a European Project Manager in Iradiare, a Portuguese consultancy company, and I'm working on the project Procuramed together with Konstantina and also in the CISO together with Rosa. Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks for being here. I have someone that I don't know the name actually, Schmidt as a surname, sorry.
Yeah, good morning. It's Sebastian, Green Public Procurement Officer at the State and City of Berlin in the Senate Department for the Environment. And Berlin is pursuing lots of its circular economy activities in its zero waste concept adopted by the Senate in 2020, aiming at realizing a circular economy for different resource streams with the time frame until 2030.
Thank you. Okay, Sebastian, thanks. Sophia?
Hello, good morning. Nice to see you all. I'm Sophia from Irradiar. I work directly with Sarah, that already presented herself. We are directly partners of the project Procura and CISO, and we also assist the Portuguese partners of Circular Minds project. So nice to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Stephen?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Stephen. I work at Zero Waste Scotland. We are trying to further circular economy and circular procurement in particular across the whole of the public sector in Scotland.
Thank you, Stephen. And Susan?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Susan and I work with Stephen and I'm one of the business partners at Zero Waste Scotland, so focusing on circular and sustainable procurement. So my role is to help support and influence organisations to become more circular in their procurement practices. Thank you.
Thank you. Noe?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Noe Viedma. I work as a project officer in MedCities, and we are also project partners at the Procura Euromed project. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you. And Susanna?
Hello, everyone. I'm a new project officer at ACR Plus. Nice to meet you all.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Johan for the first presentation. So yeah, you can go ahead, Johan.
Yeah, thank you. And I understood that you will click through my slides, right?
Yes.
Which is a challenge. Normally I have slides with animations and then I don't like anybody to touch them, but I think we're good. Welcome everybody. The introduction took a bit of time, but actually I'm quite impressed about how many people from different corners of Europe actually are visiting this first CPRON activity, because that's what it is, and not everybody is aware of it. But CPRON was set up as a well, what we try to become a gateway, a one-stop shop. If you have anything on circular procurement, you want to start a project or you have an initiative, then you need to know who's active in circular procurement already. You need to know what has been done by previous projects, etc. So that's why we came up with the idea of CPRON. If you can click to the next slide, please. Because we realized that although there are a lot of activities, also connecting and platform and network-like activities, there's still not one place where you can at least get the first connection to anybody else. So from the ProCirc project, we derived CPRON together with Asia Plus, Rijkswaterstaat, tried to design it, figure out how it could work, trying to connect the existing networks, the initiatives, everybody who's active at the moment, but also disclose tools and knowledge and insights. There are reports, there are case studies, there are e-learning tools, capacity building. There's a lot already online available, but not always easy accessible. And hopefully in the near future, CPRON will be well, as it says here, a self-contained entity, something that if you are getting involved in circular procurement, you will look for CPRON to find your right connections. Next slide, please. What we want to do, be a network, provide trainings, provide connections between all the different initiatives, and create a body of knowledge with the good practices and the tools and any other sources and resources that we can find, and hopefully also give access to European policies, the insights, the meanings of it, what's happening. If we go back to the first facilitate exchange of information, this activity, what we're in right now, is an exchange between two projects, or a project and a working group, which is exactly what CPRON was meant to facilitate. So this is, in the end, not a CPRON activity. It's an activity between the two entities, but we from CPRON, we want to facilitate that. We want to make it possible that two entities working on circular procurement and organizational change, we think they should connect. That's what CPRON does. So that's the connection we make. Next slide. Yeah, this is the easy one. Just put your phone at the screen for a moment, fill in the online form, and we'll get back to you how to get in touch with CPRON. What would it mean? What can we expect from each other, etc. So take a moment, fill out the form later, because now we'll have our discussion, but then at least you'll have the link. And I think the last slide is coming up. Our formal launch will be end of October this year, as part of the as part of the Circular Minds meeting that we'll have in Budapest, but it's a side event of the European Week of Cities and Regions, or Regions and Cities. I never know the right order. So have a look at our website, which will be online quite soon. Fill out the form, we will reach out to you, make this little network grow to become a platform to connect everything on circular procurement, where we can lay our hands on, where we can have our connections, and in the end share and speed up and accelerate circular procurement in Europe. I think that's it. I think now it's time to actually move on to the first activity, Nuria, and that's the sharing between the working group and the project that we envisioned. Am I right? Is this the last one?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Johan. Thank you for the introduction to CPRON. So now I don't know if there is any question for Johan, but otherwise I will ask Tukche to introduce CCRI.
Yes. So I will just quickly give you an overview of what is it. I see we have some members in the call, so it's great. But sorry, it will be a repetition for you. But I think it's important for the cities and regions, but also project people who are working on projects to know a bit more about CCRI. Can you mute everybody else, please, Nuria? I hear some noise. Thanks. So, well, a quick overview. Can you go to next slide, please? So what is CCRI CSO? CCRI is the larger initiative, okay? You can think of it as the 100 Neutral Cities initiative. So the overall idea, in a nutshell, is to help cities and regions to become more circular. How does it do this? With a variety of tools and sub dimensions, as you can see on the slide. So there is us. So ACR Plus is part of the consortium of CCRI CSO, meaning Coordination and Support Office, and this project, this consortium, is trying to basically build bridges between everything that is going on under this umbrella of CCRI. So it's a bit like CPRON, but with a larger scope. So what we want to do is, CCRI is the initiative. It provides funding to projects. Some of you maybe know it or part of it. And we have projects receiving funding from the CCRI calls. We have associated partners who are in this ecosystem of CCRI, let's say, well-reputed institutions that also come with their expertise, their facilitation, and so on. And we have the Coordination Support Office, which is trying to basically, make these connections between everything that is going on. Important to not to to confuse it with the CCRI, as I said, that is the larger initiative. So we don't do funding calls. We don't decide who is going to get the funding, obviously. That's DGRTD, that's the commission. But we try to facilitate everything that is going on between this ecosystem. You can go to the next slide. So as I said, we try, so we made up we had a call, and we selected 37 cities and regions who would get direct support from this coordination support office through these facilitated activities. So the projects, the associated partners, our experts. So it's the first group of cities and regions, but it goes beyond that, obviously, through these facilitated activities and synergies and all these projects that are going on. So you can see on the slide, I will show our thematic working groups members so that you can maybe see some connection opportunities there. We support them in different forms. There's a direct tailored support based on what they need. There is thematic working groups, workshops, knowledge items, like also Mervin mentioned. So it takes different forms. It's really a bit case by case, so it remains a bit abstract when I explain it like this. But today we focus on the thematic working group so that we can also make these connections. You can go to the next slide. So at the beginning of the project, we had all these members, right, cities and regions. They all work on something. They all have different projects, initiatives. We call them circular systemic solutions in our jargon, if you want. It's a holistic project or initiative to accelerate circular economy transition in a territory. So we looked at their needs, their interests, and we knew that we have to group them somehow. And we came up with these four, broader areas, let's say, because you can really do it in many different ways. There's so many needs. It's circular economy, as you know, it's still very new despite all these initiatives, so we could work on any topic. But these four was more gathering more interest somehow, and maybe we have more expertise on them. So voilà, this you can see it on the slide. I am leading as ACR Plus with my colleague Jean Benoit the thematic working group on circular resource management. So that also is quite generic. So we had to also go deeper in that, which I will explain. Can you go to the next slide? So this is just for you to see, have a look, 15 seconds, who is in there. What you have to understand, I think, is that through these connections, we are trying to do something together, right? Like Mervin also, Johan also explained. So if you see a connection, if you see someone, if you want to get in touch, you can always get in touch with us, because that's why we are here. You can go to the next slide. So as I said, again, circular resource management doesn't mean anything, means everything. So we had to go deeper a little bit. We had discussions. We tried to identify what are these, more pressing topics, let's say, among the members. So we came up with these three: reuse and repair. So how to accelerate this culture of reuse and repair in the territory. Public procurement as a way of changing the market, but also as a way of changing the administrations themselves. And of course, as another hot topic, textiles, managing textile flows, and also maybe more particularly the upcoming EPR obligation, because that's quite relevant to everybody right now. So we are working on these three subtopics, hence my presence here today, because one of them, as you can see, is public procurement. Next slide, please. So how do we do it? First, we have 3 meetings every year. We discuss based, for instance, we pick 3 topics. It's always too much for a meeting, so we pick 1 or 2, and then we alternate the topics. And if we have public procurement, for instance, we start with the discussion of challenges and solutions. This helps us in our kitchen, let's say after the meeting, to identify what are these common problems, what are these common challenges, so that we can propose some activities and some entry points, let's say. You can click. Yeah, so we identify these common issues, common solutions. We try to do some kind of matchmaking, and then we propose some follow-up activities. So the idea is, okay, we meet 3 times a year, but in between something has to happen, ideally, you know. Of course, we are aware that the budgets are restrained, the time is very limited, the public organizations have very limited means to engage with all of these projects all the time. So we're trying to, you know, propose something useful, worthy of their time, basically. You can click. And then next meeting, 2 things. We revisit the discussion. We can go deeper. For instance, we discuss textiles this November. Maybe next November, we're going to discuss textiles again. And ideally, we should be able to say, okay, what happened in between? Did something happen? Did you connect with people? And how did it help to advance your initiative, your project, and whatever you're working on? You can click again. So, as I said, that cycle repeats itself. The idea is to go deeper and deeper and to advance somehow in our work. You can go to the next slide. And an example of how we do this. So it's just like a table. The challenge, solution, who has the solution, and who could be interested. So it's like a bit of a matchmaking tool, very simple and straightforward, nothing too complicated. We have the challenges, most mentioned, paraphrased, obviously, grouped. And then, for instance, you can click. Yeah, it's an example. It's something we hear quite a lot, okay? People say, public procurement, fine. Circular public procurement, it's very new. We don't have the mind space. We don't have the time to delve into this and learn how to do this very new thing, which is completely going against the grain, let's say. And then we have a member, Munich, which is also with us, and they say, look, we have a public procurement guidance system since 2012. So we know that there is someone who has done a little bit of work already. So we know that this exists. And then we propose, because we know that Gimeresh and Zero Waste Scotland, for instance, mentioned, this is a problem that we have. The idea is to say, okay, is there anything we can learn from each other? Is there a way to, you know, reach out to Munich and to organize something so that, you know, there's some kind of peer learning and exchange of experiences, basically, that can come from this. You can go to the next slide. So yes, as I said during the meeting, we propose projects. We invite other guests, practitioners from the field. ProCirc, for instance, was presented. Rijkswaterstaat presented their reuse/public procurement initiative. So, and we have a discussion, obviously. So we can also share our frustrations about topics. In between the meetings, as I said, you can click. So we collect this information and reach out to members. We said, look, these are the activities we propose. Come back to us. Is there anything that piques your attention? So it could be reaching out to good practices. Maybe we presented, or we saw a project that was interesting that finished. We can reach out to them. Or people are interested in EPR schemes for textiles. We can organize a meeting with a smaller group of people so that, you know, there's more focus. You can click. But of course, that depends on the member. So also, please, all of you, if there is something that catches your attention, just come back to us and we will try to facilitate these linkages. You can go to the next slide. Okay, so here, just to finish, what we have been told, I guess it will resonate with all of you, many of you. It's like two coins of the same, two sides of the same coin, right? The first one is looking inward, so the capacity within the administration. So regardless of what is available on the market, there is some barriers within the administration, which is, I guess, mostly overlaps with also what you have in mind. So they don't have the resources and knowledge to delve into this. it's difficult to assess how circular a product or service is at the end because it's quite new, as you know. There's a lot of anxiety about legal issues, like how do you select a company? Is there anything that will be a problem about the competition and so on? And of course, as we know, we are operating in a system where buying new is cheaper than trying to do all of these things. And the second part of the coin, of course, is looking outward to the market. There's there might be no suppliers of what you're looking for. Maybe there is some, but you don't know about it. You have to find this right balance in between being ambitious and not being ambitious enough, because if you're asking too much, then people will be like, no, we can't really do this. No one will come and participate to the tendering process. And also, of course, in the business side, there's also not so much awareness about this circular activities, products and value chains and services. These two together, you can click, I think culminate into one question: who is going to take this first step that seems to be quite risky in an unknown territory? So with this, I finish. As I said, please don't hesitate to get in touch. I think this is for us so we have our thematic working group, and it branches out to you on public procurement. It's one of the things we can explore together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tukce, for the presentation. Is there any question for Tukce? Otherwise, we'll move to Mervin, and then we will have time for discussion. Okay, so then Mervin, are you with us?
I am indeed.
Okay.
And I'm also getting feedback.
Okay.
Just bear with me.
Yeah.
Is that better? No. Sorry, everybody. How about that? Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you well, Mervin. Yes.
Way.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Sorry about this. Having a few technical issues because my main screen is very fragmented, which is going to cause, I think, a little bit of a problem. Nuria, were you going to share the Mentimeter now, or do you want me to do that at the end of the presentation?
Maybe after, at the end, to start the discussion. Maybe it's good.
Okay.
But up to you, if you prefer now. But I think maybe it's better to introduce the work, Circular Minds, and then the Mentimeter. Yeah.
And then the Mentimeter. Yeah.
But if it works better the other way around for you, no problem, Mervin.
No, not a problem. Yeah, sorry, I'm just loading this up onto my laptop as well. So this is classic IT going wrong right at the last minute. It was working perfectly, and then when she was speaking, it just all went pear-shaped. So I'm going to share my screen if that's all right, Nuria, and that hopefully that's going to be okay with you. Can everybody see that? It's horrible, isn't it?
It's good, Mervin. It's very good.
Is it? You can. Yeah. Is that clear?
It looks normal. No? Just one slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good because it looks really terrible from where I'm sitting, which is not good. Okay. Apologies for the delay in all of this. So Mervyn Jones, working for Rijkswaterstaat, colleagues of the various different people who have already been introduced. And what I'm going to do now is just very briefly introduce you to the Circular Minds project, which has that moved on? Can I just check that's moved on?
Yes, it's moving.
Good. Yeah, so Circular Minds project is an Interreg project. Essentially, it's aiming to help organisations move beyond circular procurement pilots into the process of scale up. And this requires different elements of the organisation to change. So it's about organisational change. It's about overcoming barriers and promoting positive behaviours that already exist within the organisation. And the Circular Minds approach is based on a series of interconnected steps, which we're starting off at the beginning of a project with a situational analysis. And then we're going to look at how that can inform actions around policy change to create the impact in organisations and enable them to move, as I say, beyond pilots into scale up. So that's a what. Where is it? As I said, it's EU Interreg. It's around 10 partners, 9 countries, and Nina can correct me because it keeps adding partners and countries, which is brilliant. And also in terms of timescale, I just mentioned it's just started. It only started this year at the beginning of April, and it moves on to the end of June 2028. So we're really just at the beginning of this process. But what I'm going to present now is just a little snapshot of the actual Circular Minds situational analysis that we're just starting to undertake. What do we mean when we're talking about behavior change, organizational change? It's called Circular Minds. Mindset is a change that refers to a fundamental shift in the way that either individuals and or the organization perceives, thinks and approaches different situations or aspects within their role or within their mission or their vision or their operations. So it involves altering beliefs, attitudes and perspectives. And this is a very different approach to just, when we think about procurement projects in particular, where they're very process driven and they're very focused and they're very clearly defined in many respects. So the Circular Minds is looking at a completely different, a more subjective world that sits behind these types of projects, these procurement projects. This influences and is influenced by our behaviour and our decisions, and it also impacts on the overall outlook of delivering goals, down to also how we perceive goals. There's a little bit of a difference between that and behaviour change. Behaviour change is a process by which either individuals or organisations or both actually modify the actions and approaches and processes in response to internal and external factors or stimuli. So this involves intentional efforts to adopt new behaviours and eliminate undesirable ones or modifying existing ones. And that's really the focus of what the project is all about. I like pictures, so visually it's really about moving from the position you see on the left of the screen, thinking about how can we modify behaviours by putting in place actions. In this case, we can all identify with waste and littering. If we put bins out and collection points out, then it's modifying those behaviours. But the key point about middle picture is really that we rarely get things right first time. So part of the modification of behaviours is to constantly look at how that behaviour change is happening and to go back and revisit it. In this case, it's about making sure, yes, we've put bins out, but then we need to ensure that the collection times actually match the footfall, in this case, in an event. And ultimately, we move to a system of improvement, which you see on the right-hand side of the picture there. So that's a kind of a visual montage of what we're trying to achieve here at an organisational level. And when we talk about behavior change, we're talking about two different spheres. We're talking about effectively process and policy, and then we're talking about the behavior side, the subjective side, and you've got different sets of tools or different areas of influence there. So within decisions and policies, standard policy tools rely on information, incentives and prices, laws, regulations, processes, etc. But when we look at behavioural policy tools, we're looking at the influence of defaults, the influence of role models. And again, what you see down there, the last one, the influence of mindsets. And again, this is really what Circular Minds is all about. So if we translate that to the procurement decision-making process, we can see different levels, different scales, if you like. We can see individual on the left-hand side. So what works in terms of changing behaviors, incentives, rewards, recognition, aspirations, self-perception, self-belief, mindsets, bandwidth, etc. When we talk about social, that's about how we act and interact with our peers. So norms, leadership, management team, authority, where we are within the pecking order, within the organisation. Are we at the top? Is the organisation run by politicians or by technocrats? What are the social expectations within our particular country, within our particular region or our particular city? All of these are going to have external influences on the decisions that we take, in this case at the procurement level. But then, of course, we've got the environmental, and I don't mean the green environment here. I mean the business environment, the organisational environment. So we have regulation, legislation, institutional culture, the governance regime, the accountability regime, the availability of choice. You know, what options do we have available? If we're talking procurement, do we have circular business models, for example? And also then the information and processes. So you can see just with this very simple slide that there's a number of different scales, but also there's a whole variety of different factors. And this is really what the Circular Minds project is trying to get to grips with. So we're trying to do this in as simple a way as possible because we've got 10 different organisations, as I said, across 9 different countries, and they all, okay, we're all part of the European community, we're all member states, but we do have very different approaches. So our approach in terms of Circular Minds is really to try and solve the right problem at the right time, given the context. Hence, we need a situational analysis. So we have to diagnose and define those behaviours within each of those 10 different organisations. Then we've got to provide a pathway. We've got to map the behaviours that we want to change or modify, the ones we want to get rid of, and the ones that we want to promote and extend, the good behaviours. So we need to provide that pathway, that behavioural mapping exercise. And then we've got to come up with actions and solutions and test what works and what doesn't work. And that's what the iteration is, so backwards and forwards all the time. We've done a bit of background research looking at the various different behavioural models out there, and believe me, there are an awful lot of behavioural models out there. But we've also got to provide some mindset indicators, and you can see on the screen. I'm not going to read everything that's on the screen because hopefully Nuria will get the slides afterwards so you can see these. But you can see that there are a variety of different indicators, and again, coming back to the Circular Minds project, one of the initial tasks alongside the situational analysis is really to say, okay, when we identify the behaviours we want to change, what are the indicators that we're actually successfully changing those, or not, as the case may be. So as part of the situational analysis, and this is the big reveal for those of you who aren't involved in Circular Minds, and I apologise to those on the call who are, but this is really the thing that we're in the process of developing and now testing out with our partners. Now, I don't for a moment expect you to read this in any great sense because it's very small. So tried to break it down just a little bit. But what we have down from the columns down the left-hand side is using one of the more simple models, the COM-B model, which is about motivation, capability, capacity, and vision, and opportunities. We've come up with an initial set of indicators, and then what we've done is created a set of scales or levels of those indicators that we are going to test now with our partners in Circular Minds to first and foremost see where we are, and then to see where we need to get to. So again, you'll get this in more detail, so please don't bother trying to read it all. But the concept is we have a number of different indicators that we're all going to look at measuring ourselves against in terms of those 5 different levels. So things like ambitions, how are our policies influencing, what's the buy-in, what's the take-up, if you like, for scaling up, communication. That's all the motivational indicators. The capabilities indicators are around awareness. How aware are we? And we is not just the Circular Minds project team, but it's also all the other stakeholders inside the organization. So that might be the politicians if they're involved at the top, or it might be the senior management teams or the finance teams or the technical departmental teams or the users themselves, and right down to the people who have to deal with the problems of waste right at the end of the organization's procurement process. So awareness is one, but also capacity and capability. Do we have the knowledge to actually make that behavioral change? And then finally, and this is a key really, opportunities subset. So are the procurement processes within the organization helping or hindering? Are they acting as a driver or a barrier? And then finally, does the organizational structure or infrastructure, does that actually act as a barrier or a driver for change? Because for those of you who are directly involved in procurement, as you know, and as we all know, often there's a big disconnect between what happens in the purchasing part of the procurement cycle, the tendering, the evaluation and the contract award, to what actually happens in the contract management phase. It's often very different people. So again, the structure of the organization can act as a driver or a change. So our project partners are our guinea pigs. I've got to find a better way of putting it than that. There are pilots, if you like, to move beyond piloting. And what we're asking them to do as part of a situational analysis is then to move through this indicators framework and assess themselves alongside, in consultation with all their relevant stakeholders in the procurement cycle, to assess themselves where they think they are now, and then to look at where they want to be in terms of their ambition. And you can see just in this very simple example, this made up example, you immediately see the gaps. And if you've got information even at a very basic level for each of these indicators, you can start to see what steps do I need to take and need to think about taking in terms of moving through to demonstrate progress against these different indicators. So that is a snapshot summary of where we are now. Please bear with us because we only just started in April, so we've been busy developing this. We're going to be looking at this as a process over the summer months, with a view to actually coming up with some results collectively around around September time. And then we'll look to bring this together in a report for the end of December. So that's a little bit about us. Do we want to go to questions first, Nuria, or should we go to the Mentimeter?
Well, maybe first, indeed, if there is there any question?
Is there any questions? Did that make sense to everybody? Anybody? There's one hand up, so please just unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you for this. It's quite interesting. I was wondering if you thought about time and resources that it takes to do this work, or this snapshot, let's say, of where we are, because as we know, it's difficult, to work on these things with additional time that it requires. It's a barrier. From what I see, or maybe you will incorporate it, all test it and see it throughout the project, but
yeah. So the answer to both of those is yes. Going back, or you can't really sort of see it on that screen because it's quite small, but under the capabilities group, there's an indicator called capacity, and capacity involves the amount of resources and the time and also the cost involved. But this is where, from a Circular Minds perspective, we've actually created a little bit of an opportunity, because the Circular Minds pilot partners are going to road test this. So effectively, they have the time involved through the Circular Minds project and they have the resources available to them. What they don't have yet, because that's down to each individual organisation, is they have to understand what other stakeholders within the organisation they need to engage to complete this process. Because as you can imagine, you could do this as a single individual, but the strength of this kind of approach is getting feedback and input in from the different elements within the procurement process in that organisation.
Yeah, I mean, I was also thinking it would be nice to incorporate this in the findings, how to do it, who to involve, but also maybe when to do such an exercise, because I understand that when it's time to do public procurement, it's too late already.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I haven't put it in this particular presentation, but we do have a diagram that shows the procurement cycle. So we divide the procurement cycle up into 3 stages. We have pre-tender, tender, and then post-tender contract management phase. And very much when we're talking about behavior change, we're really talking about that pre-tender stage. And as you can imagine, around the whole procurement cycle, that pretty much involves everybody as a stakeholder, not just within the organisation, but also within the supply chains that feed that organisation. So that's I somehow have managed to move the slide on. I didn't do that intentionally, so sorry. That's
There is one question, Mervyn, from Rosa.
Yeah,
before.
Rosa, one of our Circular Minds partners.
Yeah.
Welcome.
You are muted, Rosa.
She was in a vehicle, so maybe if Rosa gets a chance.
I sat here without I didn't want to make any questions. Sorry.
Okay. But if anybody has any more questions, please just put them in the chat, and then we can get back to you either during the course of this presentation or the webinar or later on. Okay, should I move on then, Nuria?
Yes, I just see that there is Paula. Yes.
Okay. Paula. Hi, Paula.
Hello. One small question. I wonder also something that I think it's interesting to assess is also the capability of the organization to learn collectively with the experience, because sometimes we see that the people that were more motivated for circular procurement are gone to another organizations, and how this learning stays in the organization. Thank you.
That's really good points. And so, I've also written down what Tuche said as well, when to undertake the exercise, but also capability of the organisation to collectively learn. I mean, interestingly, what you said there, one of the things often about programs of change, whether they're sustainability programs or construction-based programs or whatever, is an acceptance and a realization that learning does transfer out of an organization over time, and actually that is an indirect benefit, because it then moves on and it then feeds into other organizations as well. And it's something that the City Loops project and that the Circular Minds project has picked up on in terms of trying to get replicator cities and replicator partners or stakeholders from other organizations involved. The key, I think, when we're talking about that movement out of an organization in terms of learning, that churn rate, as it's called, is making sure that it's sufficient, but it's not excessive. Because if you keep having to rebuild capacity within an organization, that's inefficient. So part of that comes back to actually when you're doing induction and training is to make sure that things like circularity approaches, etc., are built into standardized training for procurement in one instance, but also for when new members come into the organization, into induction as well. Lovely. Right, I'm really conscious of time. I don't want to take up any more of people's time than necessary. So as I say, if you've got any more questions or any great ideas, because that's one of the things of sharing this today, is if people have got any ideas or any feedback, we would, once you've got the slides and you can look at it in a little more detail, we'd love to hear from you in terms of feedback and comments like the ones that we've just heard. So a little bit of interaction, because we've been talking at you for not just me, but for all of us. Oh, Jose, you're back on again. Yeah, hand up. Is it Jose?
Yes, now
Hi.
it's true. Hi, I just want to say that we can work with Paula on this, because we had already worked together. So it will be very interesting to have her in the project if she wants to. So it could be, for me, I think it could be very interesting to have them on board. So I think their feedback and their knowledge could be very important for us as a project.
Yeah, I would second that. Having worked with Paula for a number of years on different projects, I would second that. So brilliant. That's one success out of the CPRO meeting already. We've made a connection. So our job's done for today, at least. Right, I am going to move on now. Right. If you've not used Mentimeter before, it's just an online survey tool. So you can either use the QR code on your smart device, or if you're on a laptop or a desktop, in my case, the desktop that doesn't work properly, you can go to www.menti.com. If you enter that code, you will come up with a question. And if you look at the question, it's a slider scale, so you should be able to slide backwards and forwards. But just please answer, move those slider scales backwards and forwards, as people have already done. The question is, how easy is it to implement change in your organization? It's as simple as that. And then there's a number of different sub areas. I'm going to try and bring the... So how easy is it to implement change in terms of organizational culture, in terms of policy change, in terms of processes and systems? So if we're talking procurement processes, we're talking the operational systems within the organization. The structural change, the operating environment, is really about, the setup of the organization. Does it have many departments? Does it have a centralized procurement function, or is it spread out to the different departments? Does it have lots of teams? Is it regional, interregional, city, so on? And then the bottom one, capacity and knowledge and training. So these are anonymous, so we can't trace these back to any individual person, but really it's just to give a little bit of an indication of the people on the call today. And the profile of the hills that you can see is the hills of the range of mountains for each different scale on the screen. That's just a range of answers. So if we look at things like processes and systems, we can see that it spans pretty much every response you could possibly give from 1 to 10. So the average is more or less in the middle at the moment, but there's some organizations where processes are extremely hard to change, and there's 1 or 2 where it looks reasonably easy, but the general view seems to be that it's harder rather than it's easier. And interestingly, the general view for capacity at the bottom seems to be coming out that actually organizations seem to be having a reasonable approach to training. So from our perspective, it's really just about making sure that circularity, circular economy, decarbonisation, all of these big issues, social value is embedded in that training. Yeah, it's not a scientific survey. It's one question, but just thought it would be nice for you to do a little bit of interaction. So I'm going to stop here and pass back to Nuria.
Yeah, I was about to ask if someone wants to share its experience on on their organization. What are the challenges? Yeah, someone that replied to the questionnaire. Someone wants to share the experience. Otherwise, I'm also curious to know, because we have partners from the Mediterranean area. I don't know how is the situation in the organizations. Is there a need to change behaviors in order to scale up circular procurement? What are the biggest challenge in the Mediterranean areas? It's also about the culture in the organization. It's about capacity and knowledge. Or policy change. If you want to share your experience from the Procura Med project, we would be curious to know about it. I don't know who. If Sarah, maybe you want to
Yeah, I was
explain.
waiting because I thought someone was going to talk. And now we're in the process of doing questionnaires to municipalities, but also companies, to really understand what are their barriers. But we come from other projects that are prominent Met and Graspino, and we were also partners in one of those projects, and we realized that we believe that capacity building is one of the things that we really need to improve in those organizations and municipalities. So that's why we're going to do some trainings along the project, and maybe Constantina can also give some other input. Thank you.
Yes. Also for us in the Mediterranean and the project that we have already implemented, because now it's Procuramed, but in the past we had Graspino, also Prominent Med, and a series of projects about green public procurement. The main problem that we have identified is the low capacity of the small and medium enterprises to participate in public procurement procedures. So we have identified that the big companies, the enterprises, they have the capacity, the time, the money to be prepared and to participate in more complicated procurement procedures. But for the small and medium enterprises, it's very hard for them to dedicate time, resources, personnel. So it is very important to build their capacity to provide some targeted training to them. This is for sure from our side.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, in ACR Plus, we also worked on a project called Greener, which was we will share with you afterwards. We prepared training material for to support SMEs to participate in green public procurement. So indeed, is also a common challenge here in Europe. Okay, yeah, thank you for sharing your experience. Is there someone else, maybe cities from CCRI? You want to? Paula is also raised the hand. Paula, please go ahead if you want also.
Can I? Once I heard university professor saying something very interesting. Is that usually the procurement head of the municipality is not part of the board. Usually it is, at least here in Portugal, it is dependent from the financial director. And this is an obstacle to consider procurement as a strategic issue in the organization. And I think this is something very true. Usually this is an obstacle to to consider when deciding the strategy of the organization. Procurement is out of the equation. I just wanted to take this issue. Thank you.
Yeah, we take a note on this. I don't know, Mervin, if this point raised by Paula is included in the opportunities in the framework on the organizational infrastructure, but we take note on this, Paula. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, so coming back from my question before, maybe some of the members of CCRI Berlin and Munich, because you already had work on this topic, maybe you want to share your experience with us. Can be Munich, Berlin, or Zero Waste Scotland. Someone wants to present experience? Not? Oh, yes, Sebastian, please. Thank you.
Yeah, for Berlin, I think one of the things to mention is that we have a very decentralized structure, as we are not only a municipality, but a federal state also. And there is, decentralized structure. I think this tells already much about how the process of things when you want to change something is that you will have to really have a broad political foundation, which will have to be implemented on a high level, which will then have to be accompanied bottom up for many years by awareness raising and capacity building activities. And moreover, we have this side problem of lack of capacity concerning quality and quantity. And this means that everything which is new will have a long way into the minds of the people. From public procurement view, we have a good situation because we began already 10 years ago, so that there is already a process, there is institutions, there is a political framework, but even progress already made at one time is not sure that we will still be there in 2 years. So I think this could be a good description of the situation.
Thank you, Sebastian. Yeah, indeed, this change takes time. So yeah, we take note also this. Is there any other question or someone wants to share experience? I would also like to maybe ask Jorge for the Prepare project. Maybe are you here with us, Jorge? Sure. There is Cedric. If you want to.
Yeah, I wanted to explain how it happened in the city of Brussels, because I heard many stories about how it's going in other cities. So it's really interesting. We have a really centralized structure where public procurement is centralized in a department, but we have a really high expectations, but we can't always find the good solutions in terms of private partners. So prospection is for us a really difficult way to find the right solution and the right environmental and sustainable solution. So I don't know how other cities do it to do a proper prospection, but I'm really curious to hear about it.
Yeah, somebody wants to reply to this question. How how cities do how do they engage with the market? How do they do prospection? How do they get to know what are the suppliers available? So someone wants to share. Otherwise, we take note of this challenge. To address afterwards. I also would like to, we will share with you, we have a few minutes left, we will share with you the framework and would like to ask you for feedback in case you want to give us your comments. And then also, of course, later on, once it's finalized, we will share it with you in case you want to test it with your organizations. Yeah, is there any other question? Lisanna, maybe? Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Hi. Now, interesting to hear all your experiences. Yes, and I think it's also very recognizable. Also, this point about that people move on to other jobs, and then that you can that your knowledge disappears. And sometimes 5 years ago, it then went better than now. So I think that's a challenge for a lot of organizations. And I was also wondering, like, where do you now get your information from? Like, where do you now start looking when you are when you search for topics on circular procurement? What is your source right now? Maybe someone wants to share.
Yeah, you mean because there are different initiatives ongoing on circular procurement, right?
Yes, yes, and so yes, hopefully the CPRON website. Yes,
yeah.
I hope so too. Yes, but I was wondering because there is already quite all this information available, but with CPRON, so we think there's so much available, but it's not on one spot. So hopefully it will help when it is. But I think someone raised its hand there, Tutsche.
Yes, I can also share some links. I mean, I think the circular economy stakeholder platform is useful, but also there is a couple of initiatives by the Commission, the Big Buyers Initiative. The other one is, I forgot now. I'm gonna have a look. These are, I think there is, you're right, there's not like one stop shop. Hopefully CPRON can become this. But yeah, I will share some links. Now I'm gonna have to look. I don't remember it from the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, Tutsche. Thank you. Paula has a hand raised.
Yeah, one source of information I used to use, it was the Clays procurement platform, but I'm not sure if it is still online. I'm not sure, but it was one of my source of information.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, indeed, one of the things that we want to do with CPRON is bringing all together these initiatives. So hopefully we will launch the website after summer. So we aim at connecting those. You can also provide input to us and we can add any initiative that maybe we are not aware of. So yes, thank you. Thank you, Paula. Yeah, some other question maybe or any comment? Otherwise, maybe also for the IC bar that from Circular PSP, do you want to introduce the work that you are doing maybe in the project? Because I saw that also one of your challenges was changing the linear mindset in the organizations, and you are looking for this solution through artificial intelligence. Do you want to briefly, very briefly, please explain how is the situation in looking for this supplier? Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yes, yes, I'm from the Circular PSP project, the PCP, and we are currently in the first phase, so we do not have many tangible results yet. But our aim is to develop a platform supported by AI, which combines all the CE knowledge that there is already there, but as already stated a couple of times today, it's really scattered. So this should be connecting case studies, also translating those, and so that, for example, someone who wants to procure chairs in the municipality of Guimarães in Portugal, one of our partners and also CCRI member, runs into a case study from Finland where they already did a circular procurement of chairs, and possibly with contact exchange, it should be translated. And this is just one part of this platform, one functionality actually, and it should be even broader. But as I said, it's in the beginning, we've just selected our first 5 suppliers. They are currently developing the first designs. But we are really looking forward to the next phase where it will become more tangible and where the first results will be presented actually and implemented.
Yeah, thank you, Bart. Yeah, looking forward to know how it goes. Yes. Then maybe Joan, do you want to say something about the discussion? Do you want to?
Well, I've been happy listening to everything. Clearly, this is the first and hopefully of a series of connecting activities. I think, again, like I said in the beginning, we have quite a lot of people for this connecting session, and hopefully it leads to something after this meeting, right? It's not only this 90 minutes that we're here together, but already saw an email from Paula. We need to connect after this. And I hope a lot of people followed that initiative. If you heard anything today that you think maybe that's interesting, for instance, using AI as a search engine to disclose a lot of circular procurement knowledge and activities, that's a very interesting topic to dive a bit deeper on. So pick up on new connections that you made during this meeting, and hopefully build on that and connect these projects and initiatives, right? Because with the working group and our Circular Minds, they're just one out of many different initiatives that sometimes do connect with the stakeholder platform, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're projects, sometimes they're networks, but in the end, we're all working on the same. And we need to stay connected. We need to keep on sharing our successes, but also our failures, because the most lessons are learned when things fail. So be proud of that and share it, because that's the way we all can proceed. But overall, I'm quite happy with this first session, Nuria, and I hope you are too.
Yes, thank you, Johan, for your comments. Yes, I think it went very well. We got many different organizations, project representatives here with the CCRI. We brought together many initiatives, so that's the purpose of CPRON. So yes, thanks so much to all of you. I will just like to share my screen one moment for what's next. Very briefly. So yes, as mentioned, we will share the framework with you. Feel free to provide feedback to us. We will keep you updated of the developments. Then stay tuned also for the launch of the CPRON website that will be take place after summer. And then we will have also the kickoff event on the 31st of October. We will share with you more details on that. And as Johan said, yes, thank you for being here with us. And let's keep the collaboration and keep sharing and and let's keep connected. So yes, thank you all. If you have any question, you have our email, and yes, and we will keep in touch. So I wish you all a good day on behalf of ACR Plus and Rijkswaterstaat colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for the day.
Bye.